So I've been wanting to try something for years. This year I want to see if it'll work. Can we grow in North Alabama, zone 8B? We get some pretty good winters down here. Can we grow cabbage, lettuce, other things under a small hoop house, under plastic? Well, we're going to find out. What I've done is, in this raised bed, I have taken, this is 1/2 inch PEX that they use in plumbing. I had some of that on hand, so I made hoops, put rods down in the ground to make the hoop. And I've already started some iceberg lettuce. We had some last spring, and it was really good. It tastes so much better than what we could buy in a grocery store. So, like I said, we get some pretty extreme weather from time to time. And over the next 2 weeks, the forecast is saying we're going to be in the mid-20s most every morning, and have been this past week. It's supposed to warm up today and tomorrow because we got rain coming in, then cool back down and stay those extreme low temperatures. So we're going to plant lettuce, and then we're going to cover this with 3 mil plastic, and we're going to see if we can, if these plants can survive over the next couple of weeks. So I'm going to get these planted, and then we'll cover the plastic, and we'll check back. I used these peat pods that I had bought on sale. It's the first time I've ever seen these, but the roots are coming out the bottom. They look pretty good. Maybe you can see those roots. They rooted in real well. Like I said, I've never used these before. I just found them on sale. They seem to have done a real good job. On the seed packet, it says to plant these 12 to 18 inches apart. And that seemed a little far apart for me, so I'm putting them about a foot apart. We can't get as many in them, but I want to give them plenty of room. I've got plenty here. The rest of these will stay in the greenhouse. In case these don't make it, I'll still have some backup. So we ended up with getting 18 in this bed. Now I did my normal soil prep that I do for the raised bed. I put a fresh layer, probably 2 inches of fresh compost on the top of it. And if they can survive the cold, they should do just fine. Now, lettuce is a cold hardy plant anyway, but can it survive the 20-degree some odd temperatures that we're fixing to get? We're going to find out. So we got everything planted. We got the plastic on top of it. One tip I will give you if you're going to do this, put something heavy on the edge of the plastic and pull it as tight as you can on all four corners, so when it rains it don't droop down on it. So like I was saying, we've got somewhat normal weather for us in North Alabama the next 2 or 3 days. Then we get into 20. So when we hit those cooler temperatures, I'm going to come out and check it every morning and we'll just monitor it for the next couple of weeks and see if they start to grow and how they're doing, and to see if this works. And one thing that in the mornings, if your temperature is going to get up into the 40s or 50s, I would recommend opening the ends up so that it doesn't get just real hot. Because on the other experiment that I got going on with the broccoli and it's covered, and from my experience in the greenhouse, even though it's cold during the day and the sun pops out and starts hitting that, it can be 30 or 40 degrees warmer. So if you've got 40, 50 degrees and it gets 30 degrees warmer, you could hit 80, 85 degrees up underneath in the sun. So on warmer days, be sure you flip up the end. So like I say, we'll check it every morning and we'll find out if this works or not. It's 38 degrees. It's 29 this morning. So we're still averaging right about 10 degree temperature difference from being under the plastic. But Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of this next week, that's going to tell the tale, because we got projected to be 9 degrees with sleet and snow coming in. So that'll be in a deep freezer for us. All right, well, you've seen it's 31.6 underneath the plastic. I believe it's 19 degrees right now. I was surprised that the temp was what it was. I figured it was going to be close, but one thing I think has helped me is that we got a light layer of snow. It's not much, a little snow and ice, and I believe that's become a little bit of an insulator to it. But tomorrow and into Wednesday will tell the tale. It's supposed to be 6 degrees for us Wednesday morning and the wind chill of -10. So I might come out here and stick a thermometer under this, but probably not, because this old southern boy don't do that kind of cold. Ain't happening. But we'll keep an eye on it and see, kind of see what our garden looks like. You know, we occasionally get snow, and snow is one thing. Usually we get it and it goes away. But this, with this Arctic blast, ooh, you think it was rough last December when we got that. And they talking about this staying all week. We'll have another round of plants being dead. So the nurseries will like that, because they'll be able to sell a whole lot more this spring. But anyway, it is what it is. Yeah, 10 degrees, wind chill of 0 this morning. And what was it, 32.7 underneath there. One thing I am almost convinced now is the light layer of sleet and snow that we got on top of that plastic is an insulating factor. I know this lettuce that we're trying to grow underneath is cold hardy, and it does look like it don't have frost on it, but it is getting pretty cool. So only time will tell. We got another day of this extreme cold. Well, extreme, we're supposed to be back in like 13, 14, 15 degrees. It's still cold for us here in North Alabama. So we're gonna play. I'm gonna watch this another week, or at least till we get back to normal winter conditions. But I am really surprised that it's 30, 31, 32 degrees underneath that. It's just blowing my mind, which it kind of makes sense, because I know in the greenhouse it can be extremely cold, and you know, the sun gets out and gets on it, it'll heat up really quick, because on a greenhouse, you don't really think about, well, you got to heat it, but you need to be worried about how you're going to cool it down. Sun gets on it, it's going to get hot. So I think we got a lot of that going on, but we're going to keep an eye on it. All right, this is the last day of the Arctic blast that we're getting here in North Alabama. It is 3 degrees out here, and this old southern country boy is about froze like a popsicle. We don't have much of a wind chill. So to answer your question, can you grow under plastic in the wintertime? The answer is yes, you can, but there are limitations to it. So we got our answer. What's our limitations? Well, now, first of all, let me say this. I realize a lot of you grow under plastic a lot because you are in a different zone in a northern climate. Surely, to goodness, this ain't a normal winter for y'all. I think the entire country's been in this Arctic blast. So there are limitations to it. I think a thicker plastic would help, or 2 layers of plastic would help. If you're in a raised bed, now one thing I did notice, even though it's 29 degrees under there, with the temp being so cold, the ground was froze and the plants were froze. You could reach in there and touch them. So they're done for. Once it warms up, it's supposed to be 34 degrees today. We will get some melt in this ice, but tonight it starts all over again. It's 19, so it freezes back. So I will have to replace them. So there's got to be some way, if you're going to in a raised bed, where you have to protect the soil, because those are 12. That's in a 12 and a half inch raised bed. So you got all that soil exposed above the ground. So that, put a light under it. I mean, we want this to be easy. That's why we did this experience. Now, like I said, I know you can grow under plastic because people have hoop houses and all that stuff going on. I just knew what I wanted to know. What is the limitations for me? Now I'm in 8A. We used to be 7A. So the limitations are we going to call it at 3 degrees. I'm not sure what the temp in there at night. If you can control the soil temperature and put enough cover over it, and you do get a light snow on it, that becomes an insulating factor. You can do it. But like I say, this was just a little experiment that I wanted to do to see if it'll work. I'm sure some of you or you got a whole lot more experience of growing under plastic than I do. If you would, leave me a comment and give me some of your tricks and stuff. Or if you have a YouTube channel and you've done a video on this, hey, shoot me the link over so I can go and watch it and see, because growing under plastic is new to me. Like I said, I got a greenhouse, and it's the same effect. At some point, you will have to put heat to it. And one thought that I had, if you put a heat tape like I have in the greenhouse in the propagation frame, if you run a heat tape through that bed to keep the soil temperature warm, could they survive? Well, probably. But, you know, we don't want to go running power and everything out to our garden, so we just try to figure out to grow what we can grow. So anyway, that was a fun experiment, and I'm in the house for the rest of the day. By the way, I'm going to get me a cup of coffee, and hey, I appreciate y'all watching. We'll see y'all on the next one.